The Shepherd Rock. Shankaran was a very poor and old shepherd. Since he was very old, his limbs did not obey him as they had once behaved. His lanky figure was of a beggar. His awkward and wrinkled face gave him the appearance of a sick man. His hunchbacked body was always supported by a long staff. His agedness conferred on him a little lameness on both the legs. When he moved, his joints ached severely. But since there was no any other means of leading his life, suffering all the miseries, he staggered along the meadows and pastures to feed his cattle. His cattle had never made any trouble on him, as if they were also aware of his fatigue and agedness. At times, deep pain crept all over his body, and he fell on the ground and lay there until relieved from it. In such a time, his cattle waited there to see him recover again. Sometimes, such a state was prolonged to more than 1 or 2 hours. Even then, his cattle made no problem to him, wandering or deviating away from him. Shankaran used to pray to God to call him back to heaven. He even complained mildly against the God in mind that he never gave his ears to him. He was sure that the God always guided him on his ways. One day, Shankaran was grazing his cattle along the seashore. Suddenly, it started to rain heavily. He looked around to see a shelter to escape from the raindrops, but he could see no place suitable for him to take shelter. In the heavy rain, he led his cattle forward, drenching all over. The atmosphere became very cold, and Shankaran started to shiver. His thin fingers could not help holding his staff anymore. It slipped away from his hand, and therewith he also fell down on the sand. Even his jaws could not stop jerking, for they were also shivering in deep cold. Shankaran prayed to God to compensate with the present situation. He cried in deep pain, but no sound was heard out. Only a groan came out of his mouth. Suddenly, it thundered heavily. This time, the cattle were whispered into all directions and stamped. Shankaran became alone there. He prayed to God to call him back, to be free from all the worldly pains. As he was praying so, a thunder came down on him. In the same place where Shankaran was lying entirely teared, there appeared a rock. People call that rock the Shepherd Rock.